Hello, good evening, and welcome to UPfront. Today, we put a spotlight on the ministry responsible for works and housing. We'll be back after this break. Tell you who my guest from this ministry is. You're welcome back. This is UPfront. My name is Raymond Aqua. From now to the end of this conversation, I'll be letting you know what this particular ministry has been doing for the last whole year, what the agenda for the next year is supposed to be, especially important issues of specifically sea defense development, and also dealing with the perennial flooding would be at the center point of this conversation. My guest is the Honorable Member of Parliament for Subin. He's the Deputy Minister in this particular Ministry of Works and Housing. You remember that ministry has a lot of reformations and it's gone through a lot. In fact, he's in charge of the, what they call it, Works Department and sector of this ministry. Honorable, you're welcome to UPfront.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing very well.
We are doing our best.
Yeah, I mean, yes, Monday, the conclusion was put to the conversation on the financial policy in Parliament, and the understanding is that you're not going to go into deeper parts of the appropriation. We'll start a conversation with what your own contribution has been on the floor. I have seen a statement that you actually delivered, the opening the conversation on education. Interesting statement there. First and foremost, there is a lot of difficulties with this free SHS thing. You boldly touted the positives. Are you convinced that the other section of this is being dealt with the way it ought to be dealt with, as in the downsides?
Yeah, many thanks. And first of all, let me take this opportunity to say good evening to our esteemed viewers. There are, I would say, minor hiccups to our flagship program. As you're well aware, the New Patriotic Party went into 3 successive elections, touting this core electoral promise. 2008, 2012, 2016, under the able leadership of then candidate Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Lo and behold, the good people of our country gave us an emphatic victory to run the affairs of this country. So September 2017, we set to work on a key election manifesto promise. And being a member of the Education Committee in Parliament, I had the privilege and the honor of opening a debate for the Select Committee, where I touted the credentials and the government's commitment to expanding the frontiers of education in our country. Hitherto, Ghanaian children up to the junior school, junior GHS, junior high school level, had their termination. Most of them had that level as their termination point in their lives. But the vision of our president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has ensured that every Ghanaian child now will have the privilege or the advantage of going to the senior high school. Before this, about 1 million of our children were left, just at the JHS level, in a country where literacy is very low. We had to find ways of, growing the country through education. Because if you are going to have that massive industrial takeoff, we need the human resources to go with it. The government committed 400 million Ghana cedis in the first year. We also inherited 30 million, in excess of 30 million Ghana cedis at debt covering the 2015-2016 that the previous government bequeathed us. That has also been cleared. The government in the next year has set out to, or has earmarked 1.3 million Ghana cedis as the money to cover, the second and third terms of the next academic year. I don't have. Okay,
so that's what I was confused about, because what I see in the budget is 1.13 billion.
Yes, sure.
Yes. So
thanks for the correction. Yeah. All right, it's 1.13 billion. That's what the government has earmarked for the education sector. So these are happy that the Ghanaians are fully behind it. It's come to stay. The only way we can develop or grow our nation is through education. Simple as that.
Okay.
If you need a massive industrial takeoff, skills acquisition, and making sure that we make sure that every Ghanaian child at least attains that level of education, and that is dear to the heart of our government, being led by Donald Akufo-Addo.
You did say that a certain percentage of students never get the opportunity, for example, even though they are placed in schools, to take up these places in the school, so they don't get to enroll. What percentage was it then?
I think we must all be fair to the facts. The facts say that nationally it's 30%. But if you go to the northern part of Ghana, that's the northern region, upper east, upper west, where the northern scholarship applied is 11.48%.
Okay.
So cost, we all know, is a barrier, a fundamental barrier to education in our country up until we outlawed the free SHS.
And this is between 2012 and 2016.
Yes, the figure. I don't have the statement with me. You do.
That's why, because I would.
So you do.
Because between 2012 and 2016, there's never been a year that has been 30%.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Have you checked your facts?
Yes, I clearly.
Because this statement was made in consultation with people at the ministry, seeking the fact, because these are matters of public record. These were statements on the floor of the House.
I get you, because the GS put out a statement which actually said that in 2012, it was 2012-2013 academic year, it was actually 25.7.
No, but we are doing collectively over the 4-year period.
Yes, over the 4-year period, it would actually be, if you put them, 27.3% and not 30%.
No, close.
Okay, I get your point. Okay, I wanted to be clear in my mind on that. But why are they letting you lead the education conversation when you are from the Works and Housing Ministry?
No, because in Parliament, every member of Parliament belongs to the select committee.
Okay, so it's because of the committee membership that you are.
So the three of us who spoke, I spoke the chairman of the committee, Honorable Siaka Stevens, from German North, or German South, I think. He also spoke. He's the chairman of the select committee of education. And then the Deputy Minister for Education, Honorable Dr. Edusu Mose, also spoke.
I get the point. But now, I want us to briefly move to the end. Of course, education is not where you are as a deputy minister. I want us to move to where you are as a deputy minister. And especially, two things have happened in the course of the year that are very monumental, that has been very controversial. First and foremost is the sea defense structure in the country. And the second one is flooding. In February this year, the sector minister actually indicated that we needed some $700 million to fix the problem in Accra permanently. And of course, I've seen your budget for the previous year. I've seen your budget for this particular year. It doesn't look like, in fact, the entire budget for the entire infrastructure sector doesn't look like it can fix the problem permanently.
Sure.
Where is the solution coming from?
For the 2018 financial year, the Minister of Finance, Honorable Kenneth Furiata, came to Parliament and laid the budget in front of the country. The work sector was allocated 64,458,078.58. That covers the work sector, the general maintenance management, the drainage, and the coastal management. That's what we've been allocated. But also look at if we increase the collection of our revenues, these figures could go up. Because most of the projects in that sector, the sea defense and what have you, are mostly generally government GOG funded, government Ghana funded. Okay. So if the paperless ports and what have you boost our revenues, then of course, these figures could triple or quadruple in the year. But we need to tackle certain areas with dispatch. We cannot afford to let the good people of this country down. Those living along the 550 kilometers stretch of coastline.
Okay, so we are told in March that you rolled out temporary measures to minimize the impact of flooding ahead of the rainy season. What were these measures?
The silting, drainage, and culverts.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I think in Accra, one of the concerns, I'm not too sure. I think one of the Blekumes, they had a culvert washed away. You have to quickly fix it in an emergency situation, things like that. But we need a comprehensive program. We cannot afford to be wasting money year in, year out.
Doing drainage and
Yes.
desilting.
And that is why my minister, Honorable Samuel Atacha, spoke to the nation and said we need about 700 million. Because I think it's an all-encompassing situation that requires a lot of resources to tackle. It's not only just in Accra.
Yeah.
I think all our cities are getting choked. Kumasi is also getting its fair share of the flooding whenever it rains.
Okay.
Areas where you never thought of floods, now they're being flooded.
Okay.
So it's a national phenomenon that has to be addressed.
Okay, that's interesting. Just like in November, the minister said that your ministry has put together a roadmap to provide permanent infrastructure solution to this perennial flooding in Accra. What is this roadmap?
The roadmap, the roadmap was to split Accra into 4 different phases and tackle the flooding from those 4 angles, where there's this perennial flooding into the Odo, which kind of makes life difficult for everybody in the region. I think the last serious flooding we had was in 2015, was it? 2015,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Where
the
loss of
twin
lives,
disaster happened.
loss of property and what have you. And so, in a nutshell, that is what is being handled. Because there was this Conti project which was budgeted some 670 million. In the end, it couldn't come on because of Exim Bank of America, USA, and Stanchart.
In 2015, the then finance minister said the money had not been released at all.
So yes, it was not released at all.
Up to now, we still don't have the money at all.
No.
What is the status of that particular attempt?
That is what I'm saying, that we need to do away with the Conti project.
So if this carded completely,
it's too cumbersome, and the funds were not released. So we have to look at another option of breaking Accra up into 4 key areas for these the contractors to start, constructing the drains and what have you, and coming to a convergent point where we will then make sure that all the flooding leads to the Odo River, all these big lagoons in Accra.
Except to say that the minister sounded like there's a roadmap in place.
There is a roadmap, that's what I've told you.
Okay, so this is the roadmap.
Yeah, that's the roadmap.
And when is this supposed to be finalized?
Yeah, it goes back to money.
You've broken into phases.
Yeah, no. But the phase will all have to be tackled at one time. You cannot be doing it this phase for 4 years. No. It has to be done, because otherwise you still have the perennial flooding. Or the same entry point.
Because the Conti project was in phases. It was actually in 2 major phases with specific development.
You don't want to know about Conti. I don't want to go there. It's too political, so let's drop it.
Really?
Yes.
No, but I mean, it was a major program in this country. We sought to fix.
So what stalled it?
They said the money was not released.
No. That's why I'm saying it's a major. It's a big political thing. So I think
is there anything beyond
Ghanaians who want to hear solutions and not?
No. But is there anything beyond the money not being released that did not allow the Conti project?
I was not part of the previous government. So
no, but when you say it is political, you seem to suggest that there are other reasons beyond.
No, what we inherited, the report was that the monies were not released. You just said it yourself.
I get your point. So that's the entire reason.
And if the monies were not released, why was the monies not released? Why were the monies not released?
That you should be able to tell us.
Well, that's
before you in the reports. Yeah.
The money, the Exim Bank and Stanchart pulled out.
Is there a reason why they pulled out?
I'm not too sure.
Is it in the document?
No, it's not. All they say is they pulled out.
And that's all. We abandoned the project because
they pulled out.
They pulled out.
It's a bank, so they probably did a risk assessment and thought, look, it's not worth us putting our money in. Let's pull out.
That's interesting to know.
Yeah, well, banks are banks.
Yes, but my difficulty is that this roadmap that you're actually putting in place, where is the funding supposed to come from?
From our donor partners.
Are they committed to doing that?
Of course.
When did they do so?
Oh, they've always done that. They've always come to our aid. Some will be GOG if need be, but the donor fund. Once you put I think the UN is helping us.
No, but you say they've always done so. I'm asking whether you have the commitment, a document that says that we will fund this project within this period of time.
No, but you don't get that commitment. You have to go and seek and secure.
So we've not done that yet.
We've done it. I was just going to latch on to it, and you came on another question.
Okay, so I was.
So if you allow me to answer the question for the benefit of our listeners.
No, I wanted to be clear in my mind.
No.
The difference
the
between
UN,
the
as
two
we speak,
projects.
is trying to secure funding for us.
UN?
Yes. We just had a meeting with them last week. They've gone. They'll come back again, I think, in January. So we are working. We're working to, secure funds for these projects. It's not easy. We met a very challenged kitty. And
I get you, but when the minister said in November that there is actually a roadmap in place, you had not met anybody to secure
but
the money.
when you say the minister said that,
yes,
the minister has said it. That means plans are afoot. But the minister will get nudge.
So after that time, there was no financial element considered and approved.
Things are being worked on. If you need, I don't know whether I tried securing a loan from a bank in Ghana. It's like securing a loan from any other place.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
questions will be asked. Bring this, bring that, do this, bring this study to us, bring this, bring that. So when the minister says something, that means he's standing on something.
Okay. Is there a commitment in the 2018 budget to do this program?
Of course. If there is no commitment, have you read the budget yourself?
Yes, I've read every part of the budget.
Yes, and I
don't see it in there.
That what?
That we are going to permanently fix the car problem with this roadmap.
No,
I don't see it in there.
The words you are using, you are a journalist, we are the politicians.
Yes.
You say permanently fix the Accra problem.
Yes.
These are your words, so.
Yes, I'm asking that.
Yes, but yes, that is the posture of my minister. That we have to tackle this problem once and for all.
Yeah, but I don't see that in the what they call the budget.
But do you expect to see everything in the budget?
I expect to see such a big program in the budget, mindful of its funding and other implications. Or you don't think so?
I don't think so.
Really?
All must be
this is
interested
not
in
part
that.
of the financial policy of the government for 2018.
It is.
Yet it's not captured in the budget.
No, but not everything is captured in the budget.
Okay, let me tell you the things that are actually captured in the budget in this case. The budget speaks of, so the budget specifically speaks of coastal protection works at Abuazi, and which has been completed, and other works that are going to be continued. In fact, it says in 525 that the ministry's drainage improvement projects to solve the perennial flooding and erosion problems affecting the most communities at flood-prone areas like Accra River Drainage Project, Agona, Sakaman 1, Ejura, Tepa, Goso, Lot 1 and 2, and are at different stages of what they call completion. There's no element of this that tells me that the Accra drainage problem is going to be fixed this particular way, because you made reference to which drainage problems are being fixed.
Let me tell you, drainage management programs, an amount of 20,089,104 Ghana cedis was provided to implement these projects. Right?
Which paragraph in the budget are you reading?
I'm coming from the ministry. That's why not everything is captured in the budget. I was trying to avert your mind to it.
No, I'm just asking. That
so when the minister is speaking,
yes,
he don't expect to see everything in the budget. So I'll tell you what the ministry is doing.
So the ministry is working on the Accra project.
Bear with me. That's about Accra project.
Okay, I hear you.
So I brought the facts.
Yes, please.
And I take 2018 National Flood Control Program. Commence the Onyashia Upstream Storm Water Drainage Project. Right?
Yeah. Construction
of drains at Lafa. Constructions of drains at Kojo, Bale, and Onukpahi. These are all part of the Conti project, which is broken down into pieces.
Yes.
Yes. So the fact that you don't see it in the budget.
Sorry, are you taking up the Conti project now? But you said that.
No, we are not. I said that
they were
used
part
to
of
be.
It. Okay, yeah.
Or that was part of the.
Yeah.
These were part of the Conti project.
Yeah.
But we faced it, so that we'll be doing it from various angles. That's why I'm saying that all these things cannot be captured in the budget.
Okay, so you are.
So when you read something and you want further information,
you are constructing drains, and I've heard 3 places that you've mentioned.
Four in Accra.
Okay, that's interesting.
The Onyashia Upstream, and the Lafa, Kojo, Bale, and Onukpahi, 5 and 5.
Which section of the roadmap is this particular construction?
What is which section? I don't get the question.
I'm saying that the roadmap that you say is being implemented, that you said because of the monetary issues, it ought to be implemented all together. I'm asking, which level or stage is this particular?
We've just come into government, and we are trying to secure funds for these projects.
This is the 12th month in government.
My brother, let me tell you, as a deputy minister, all what I've been doing in that ministry is to pay debts that we inherited. As we speak.
That's what you've been doing?
That's what we've been doing.
How much debt
have you
paid?
And we've been, in spite of the debt, I'll come to it, in spite of the debt that we've been paying, we've been thinking through how to solve all this perennial flooding in our country. It's so unfortunate that we've taken over this administration, and taken over the reins of government, we accept the liability as well as the losses. Right? That is not a problem.
Okay.
But you as journalists, what you must bear with us is that we've inherited a country where every single sector of our economy has been mismanaged. As we speak,
every single sector.
We paid approximately about 55 million Ghana cedis.
Every single sector.
Bear with me.
Oh, you're using the term every single rather loosely to me.
You are not helping yourself.
But when you say every single
if
sector
you let me advance my point, then you can come with the questions. I'm here for you to question for 50 minutes.
I get you, no problem.
So let me finish my question because you are not allowing the viewers to listen to me.
I wanted to be clear.
No, let me finish and then you come in.
Okay, yeah, proceed. I have no difficulties with that.
You said you wanted to know how much you've paid. So I'm telling you how much, Raymond. We've paid over approximately 55 million Ghana cedis, right, to almost all our sea defense contractors, sea defense project contractors. As we speak, before the end of the year, the government will be paying about 100 million, approximately 100 million.
Yes,
right. But we have not awarded a single contract. All these contracts, I'll tell you, I've brought the dates with me. All these contracts were awarded. The Dansuman Sea Defense Project was awarded in November 2012. The Discoff Sea Defense Project was awarded 2016 October. New Takrady Sea Defense was awarded in August 2016. Blekuso was awarded June 2015. Ajua was awarded in September 2014. Abuaze, December 2012. Nkontompo, November 2013. So all these projects were awarded under the previous regime. And we have to settle the contractors. If you realize, Honorable Samson was on air a few months ago saying that contractors have abandoned sites and because we haven't paid them.
Yeah.
At that time, I think he spoke out of ignorance, but that very week, we had paid them. But we are still paying them because Blekuso is out of sight, right?
Okay.
And then we have to find money to pay them for them to move back to site. So these are things that we've been doing, Raymond, in addition to trying to, find, permanent solution to the flooding and drainage system of our country. So now you can bring your questions.
Okay, so you did say that every single sector of the economy has been mismanaged.
Of course, you're a Ghanaian. You live here. Have you just arrived?
No.
If you had inherited an economy that was booming, right? These just would have been paid. We still have to award a contract.
What are the sectors of the economy you are talking about when you say every single sector?
Well, you're a journalist, you know. If you are going this way, you are being condescending.
No, sorry, forgive me. I'm just seeking to find information from you, Honorable.
But you know the key sectors of our economy.
Yes, so I wanted you to tell me which ones, so that
I will talk about my ministry.
Yeah, but you roped in a sector that's not in your ministry.
Which sector is that?
Which is supposed to be every key sector of the economy.
Yes.
And I am saying that.
But you know the key sectors, don't you?
Yes, but so I want to be clear in my mind which specific ones so that we can take it one by one.
No, but I'm only here to speak about my ministry and my select committee in Parliament.
Okay, so
but
I should disregard any other comment you make about it.
No, you cannot disregard it.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I'm querying that, which is also fair though because you made a claim. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
I think the reason why Ghanaians gave us that emphatic victory was that every single economy, every single sector of our economy have been mismanaged. You go to energy, it's been mismanaged. You saw the debt, about 10 billion Ghana cedis, 10 million Ghana cedis, we have to issue bonds. You go here, we have to issue bonds. You go there. Why are we issuing bonds? Right? Energy sector, where even people pay for electricity and stuff, we cannot manage it. Right? The president recently said that...
Okay, so because there's debt...
One minute. Yeah. The president recently said that our education and health sectors are donor funded after 60 years of independence. It goes to show that every single sector of our economy has been mismanaged.
Okay, so forgive me. You see,
when
you bring in other elements, for example, when you say education and what they call the health sectors are donor funded, then I'll be tempted to ask, what's the proof to that?
No, but like I said here, my questions here is not my mission here tonight is not come to sit here and lament. My question is to come and tell Ghanaians the solutions we are seeking to these long-term problems of our country.
Because it's not entirely true that education and what they call health sectors are donor funded. Indeed, in the education sector, with the last 5 years, there's never been a time that donor funding has exceeded 20%. Are you aware?
Even if it's 1%, Raymond, even if it's 1%, are you proud as a Ghanaian that after 60 years?
Yes, I get you.
You see, it doesn't matter, even if it's 0.0001%. Okay. The fact of the matter is that 60 years, A country that attained independence same time as Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia. These people are now middle-income nations. Even some of them first world nations.
Yeah.
We are still struggling to even fund our education sector, our health sector, our infrastructure ministries. Everywhere you go, Britain, America, Germany, all these top economies, right? It's the infrastructure ministries that drive the economy.
Okay.
But you come to Ghana, we cannot even afford to find money or adequate money to even do our sea defense projects.
Okay, that's true. And we come to sea defense, which is another project that is very dear to the hearts of many, especially when it comes to the coastal areas of the country. But you were telling me about the specific drains that will be constructed this year. And you also said in 5 different communities specifically. How much is it going to cost us to do all of that?
Well, you ask me how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. The lowest contract sum in the sea defense that we inherited was at least $20 million.
Oh, no, but I'm asking you how much it's going to cost for you to do the new project you say you will do, not the previous one.
So I said, I'm giving you what we've
an
inherited.
estimation of the previous one.
So you can look at the trend.
Well, we don't know the costing for this year.
No, the thing is, you see, Raymond, these things don't work like that.
You submitted budget estimates for them to be inculcated into the larger budget. It's not so.
That's
the ministry's budget.
But that's fine.
So give me your estimate for these projects.
Anything. I don't know whether you have friends in the construction sector. There's something known as variation order.
I get you. It can be done consistently.
So the contract could be 300,000 Ghana cedis, right? But up to the point of completion, it would have gone up to 1 million Ghana cedis.
Yeah, there's a reason why you gave estimates of this particular one. So I want to know what these estimates are.
The estimates?
Yes, for the construction of the drains you made reference to.
I'm not too sure I get your question.
So you gave specific areas you're going to construct drains. I'm asking, how much is it going to cost us to actually do these constructions?
Well, the budget allocation was 20 million, I've told you, 20 million, 89,000. That's what we've been allocated in the budget. But like I said to you earlier, depending on our revenue collection, the government will have more resources to carry out, big projects or more projects, depending on what is in the kitty. But as we stand, the poverty is the kitty is very challenged. The money is not there, so you have to do what every government does to bring relief to the citizens living along the coast. Okay,
so there was no specific amounts detailed or attached to these constructions?
I didn't bring the exact contracts, but that is what has been allocated to the drainage management sector.
20 million.
20 million.
And this is it only these 5 or the ones stipulated in the budget?
Some of them I told you we are securing funds for it, but they have to be captured because it's part of that sector. Because the Onyashia upstream, the Lafine are big projects.
Okay,
There are projects probably in the range of $150 million.
So that's why I wanted to know if your budget is this limited and you indeed want to do these projects.
When it comes to those projects, we are seeking external help.
You are seeking help.
These are big projects. That the budget of Ghana cannot.
Are there external commitments to these projects?
Oh, sure. So like I said, the United Nations just left us last week. They were in the ministry. I think this week.
Okay.
Monday or last week, they were in the ministry. They came to meet us to discuss. I think it was Tuesday morning.
Okay, that's interesting. It's very close to all of this engagement. But let me find out from you. It'll be interesting to note. So by the time this year ends, would you have finished with all of these constructions, albeit money availability and all of those issues resolved?
You have to be asking the contractors that.
But you give them a time frame for the construction.
Yes, you give them a time frame.
What is the time frame?
Some do complete before time, others don't.
So I'm asking the time frame you have given them.
You have not signed any contracts with them.
No, I'm asking, when does government want these projects to be finished?
It is the 2018 budget. So that means you want to be completed in 2018.
Interesting. So some projects exceed that because you give me updates in the budgets on some projects and where they are supposed to end. For example, you talked about the coastal protection works at Abuazi and Co. which are supposed to be ending because they are currently at 65%, 45%, and 40%. So that's what I wanted to know for these particular projects. Is that the only thing that's going to happen on the Accra flooding problem?
It's not only in Accra, the drains are all over the country.
Yes, I just want to know, dealing with the Accra flooding problem, is that the only thing that's going to happen this year?
Yeah, well, yes.
Drains?
No. Yes.
And what's the idea that when we do the drains, it would...
Because we are still using the drains that were constructed during the colonial period.
Okay.
And they are too small. So we have to get enlarged drains.
So the hope is that when you build these drains, they will improve the situation.
Yeah, because the water must find its way to the lagoons. And because it's not finding its way either through choked gutters or what have you, choked drains or what have you, that is why the place is getting flooded. Okay. So we have to increase the size of the drains, first and foremost, right? Yeah. And make sure that we desilt the existing ones. Okay. And I'm sure you've heard of the dredging works in the Odo River and whatever. These are all things that we do to improve the flooding situation in our country.
The Korle Lagoon Ecological Restoration Program is going to continue?
Yeah.
What's happening to it now?
I think the last time I heard something about it, I think it's ongoing. It hasn't been dropped.
Really?
Yes. I think one of our donor partners brought us some funds, or was going to bring us some funds. I can't remember. It's on top of my head. Okay. Yes, okay. But I've read it somewhere.
Interesting. And do we know when it's likely to be completed
These
finally?
These days, it's like asking me how long is a piece of string.
No.
Some of your questions I can't find answers for.
Because I want to know what is government's plan
looking
into the medium term. Because it's important so that
Raymond,
we know
Raymond, come to the real
when
world.
the people are going to get the relief that they need at this particular time.
Come to the real world. I like to deal with realities. Blekuso, for example. You know what time we awarded that contract? Blekuso was awarded in 2015 June. It's 2017 December. Really and truly, it should have taken them 2 years, 24 months. Okay. But actually, as we speak, I think the last time they received the payment was in the election year. Yeah. Right? The contractor has abandoned site.
And we understand it's 45% complete.
Right? But we are going to pay them before the end of the year. We're going to pay some of the contract. Yes. For them to move out to site. Yes, we're going to pay them some amount, a part of what is being owed. Okay. So if a contractor is owed, and they have access to foreign money and they can continue, or they have access to a bank loans and they can continue. If they can't, right? Yeah. Afford to pay their staff, their employees and what have you, then the timelines we've given them won't work. Okay. So I just wanted to know the timeline so that we are clear. Most of these contracts are signed 24 months.
24 months, 2 years.
Yes. Okay. But some too, there's one of our good contractors, local contractor called Vulox. Okay. He was able to do the new Takoradi one within 18 months.
I get your point.
So some complete ahead of time, some don't. Okay. So it's a touch and go.
All right. So now let me understand this part too. Of course, you talked about flooding, especially in Accra. Is there any other plan to deal with the flooding in other major areas outside Accra?
I say it's a national canker. So we are tackling from all the regions. I mentioned Kumasi to you. Yeah. I'm not too sure about Takoradi, because I haven't seen it anywhere. But it's a national problem. So as and when they arise, we have to go and tackle it. Okay.
Is it that there's a plan, or you're waiting for them to?
That's what our minister has said. There's a master plan for doing it, because we cannot be doing it in a piecemeal manner, right? It ends up costing you more. Okay, I get you. So there's a master plan to tackle all these things, and to be rolled out in no time.
So the 700 million is for Accra alone, or is for the entire master plan?
Yeah, that's for Accra.
Accra alone.
Based on the assessment of the county.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Anyway, but let's move to the other very important part.
You're not even sticking to your questions. That's the thing.
The elements to do with what they call it, coastal protection and sea defense. Where are we with the major sea defense projects we said we'll do?
Where are we in terms of the major sea defense?
Yes.
We have not awarded a single sea defense project, I've told you.
Not you, as in
the ministry, all the sea defense are ongoing. I think about 3 or 4. Most of them have been completed. Okay. Bear with me. Okay. I think I have them here. New Takoradi, 100% complete. Abuaze, 100% complete. Nkontompo, 100% complete. Ajua, 65% complete. Blekuso, 45. Dansoman, 45. New Takoradi, Phase 2, Elmina, 40%. Sakomono Sea Defense, 0%. That hasn't been, I don't think that has been started at all.
Okay, so in 2018, which projects are you likely to do?
In 2018, the 2018 budget, In 2018, we're looking at Commander, Abuaze, Blekuso, Aman Fukuma, Adjoa, New Takrade, Nigo Pram Pram, Shama, Dansuma, Mensa Guinea. That's behind the Independence Arch.
Okay.
Axim and Anomabo.
Is there any going to happen in Cape Coast?
Not in Cape Coast, not that I'm aware of, but these are the ones we are tackling.
Okay, but the budget states Cape Coast too, so that's how I was confused.
No, because the stretch is very confusing. The New Takrade is right between Cape Coast and Limina.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So it encompasses Cape Coast too.
Yes.
So
it's very confusing unless you go to the sites. When you just look at the name, sometimes you don't get it. But they just find one name for the entire stretch.
There is also a part that the budget stipulates that you construct reinforced concrete drains. What does it really mean, and what is it going to do in specific areas? Abuakwa, South Town, South Subin, and the rest.
Reinforced drains, these big gutters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so do storm drains.
Oh, okay.
I think from Kalkudi on the Kanda Highway, if you look to your right, just before you get to the mosque on the left, you see a reinforced drain that's covered.
Okay.
I don't know whether you've used that route.
I get the plan.
Yes. I think that's what reinforced drains means. But just that this one, I like the design of it. It's covered, so people can walk on it. So it's not a massive drain where people cannot cross. Or you have to do special pathways for people to cross to the other side. But this one is all covered, so people can walk on it from that one end to the other.
All right.
And that's what we mean by reinforced drains, storm drains.
Okay, that's interesting. We'll be taking a break now and come back, and our conversation will continue with the Honorable Deputy Minister in charge of Works in the Ministry of Works and Housing.
You're loving this.
When we're back from this break, we'll continue our conversation. We're asking what is going to be done 2018, what has been done 2017, and what's the way forward in dealing with the major problems in Accra and the other parts of the country.
Those are areas you have to tackle in earnest.
You're welcome. This is Upfront. My guest today is the Deputy Minister in the Works and Housing Ministry. And we've been talking about that particular ministry because it's very critical for the year that we are entering. You do know that Accra consistently gets flooded. And now this happens virtually at every major city because of the planning and other issues that are actually inhibiting the way cities ought to be resilient. Also mindful of what's happening with climate change and all of the difficulties related to that. Secondly, there are coastal towns and cities that risk being wiped off the surface of the earth and not being part of Ghana again because of the scare that the climate change and other things are posing to these towns. What is being done by this ministry to fix these problems permanently? And the Honorable Deputy Minister has been proffering some solutions and answers to these questions. We'll continue from where we left off, and that's to get our appreciation of what's happening with the coastal sea defense projects that are supposed to be currently ongoing. Now, Honorable, you're welcome. And we were on the leg of having to appreciate where the status of these sea defense programs, mindful of how relevant they are to dealing with the problem. In the Volta region, for instance, there were towns that were supposed to be relocated. What's the status of this relocation?
That is why this is where the Blekuso project comes in handy. Part of it was land reclamation, which has been done successfully through groins. You know, these are technologies used in the hydro sector. So don't let me confuse you. They've constructed groins that has reclaimed about 60% of the land. They're also going to resettle people whose properties were affected during the tidal waves.
Okay.
So you can. That is why these monies are big. These sea defense contracts are huge monies. You see, it involves a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. No. So that's interesting. So when are they going to finally move everybody there?
No, the thing is they're going back to site in the new year. They're going back to site. I think in the new year I think they'll be moving to the new site.
Can they finish in
45%? Sorry.
Can they finish in 2018?
Hopefully yes. Hopefully yes. I mean, you see, Raymond, I keep going back to the money issue.
Of course.
If you have the money to pay them.
Have we found money for them?
Oh yeah, we've paid them.
Everything?
No, not everything. Look, let me tell you.
Because you said,
let me tell you. Hold on. Let me tell you.
Because it's such a critical project that we need to.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
Let me tell you something that will agitate your mind.
Yeah.
As we speak.
Yeah.
There are outstanding arrears of 1 billion. 174,220,640.59 as of December 2016.
2016?
Yes, that's arrears. Arrears is almost 1.2.
Okay.
billion.
I don't want to lose sight of the relocation, but how are you going to fund this particular debt?
So that's why I'm trying to say that we've inherited a very challenged kitty and economy.
Yes, you have to do projects. You have to continue with the
but we have
projects.
to make sure that, yes, these contractors get their payments all right, and they're able to pay their staff to motivate them to work, right? These are people bringing money from foreign sources, some from Ghanaian sources, local sources, and you have to make sure that they get. I mean, if every 3 months, in a normal working environment, if every 3 months government can pay them, I don't think they'll be delaying the project.
But does government have a plan to settle these debts?
Of course, we have to pay. It's on the boss of government.
Yes, so I just want to know, what's our plan? Are we paying from GOG, or we are looking at external bonds and other things?
No, we are paying mostly from GOG. We have not issued any bonds in our sector, have we?
Yes, that's what I'm wondering. Are you not considering any? I mean, is the thing to do now?
Maybe in the foreseeable future, but currently government is paying. Government is finding the money to pay.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm saying that in the whole of 2017, we have not awarded a single contract.
Because you have to clear previous ones.
But they're not previous, they're ongoing projects.
Okay, some of them are actually still ongoing.
Yeah, so you cannot afford to have contractors on site and you're not paying them. It will be irresponsible on our part. So we are paying them, but next year we still have to tackle places like Axim and Mabu, where if care is not taken, the next 5 to 10 years, these great towns or cities of ours will be wiped off our national map.
Oh, so that's the Sea Defense Project.
Yes, go to Axim now.
Okay.
Not far from where the
I've seen the report from there.
First president of Kwame Nkrumah, first president of Ghana was born, Kwame Nkrumah.
We did a report that said that if he didn't take care, his tomb would actually be taken off. And because of the problems with where it's supposed to be located and stuff like that. So the plan is to build Sea Defense, not to relocate them?
No, the relocation will come in after an assessment has been made, right? If the land can be reclaimed and properties have not been destroyed, that was the point of the relocation.
Okay, so
the relocation comes with cost. I know,
but I'm wondering which one is cheaper, the relocation or Sea Defense?
No, the thing is that these people have their family homes and stuff like that for a last goal.
But it doesn't look like we can control the height of the sea and climate change in any way.
Like if the experts say, look, we can reclaim lands, like Blekuso. Okay. If you can reclaim, say, 60-70% of the lands, right, and some majority of the houses are intact, there's no problem to relocate.
Okay.
Right? But if it's going to affect them in the course of the execution of the contract, then we have to look at the relocation to allow the contractors to work.
Okay, that's interesting.
Sure.
So by next year, the relocation from the Volta region will be completed.
I won't say will be completed. I keep saying to you, Raymond.
Because I want timelines. I want specific timelines.
You enjoy it. No,
I'm interested in knowing when the relief will be brought to the people.
I would love to come and sit here.
Yes.
Give you precise timelines and to our listeners or to our viewers, and then everything will be hunky-dory.
Yeah.
But we live in the real world where we are challenged in terms of money. Finding money to pay a contract. I've said we've come this year alone, we have paid something like approximately 150 million Ghana cedis to contractors.
Okay.
So you see, yes, some contractors said they were paid around July or August of 2016. They're not seeing any monies.
Oh, okay.
And you expect them to go to site? So the most important thing is that you have to find the money to pay them, to motivate their staff to work, right? To motivate these contractors to go into the bank to seek extra funding for this project. Well, these are massive projects.
Okay. There's actually a question connected to all of these and what the plan is, because, of course, we are trying to reclaim lands, we are trying to build Sea Defense. Do we have a coordinated program to make sure that our coast is protected the way it ought to be protected? Looking at the nearest future.
If you had them, let me tell you something. My minister recently traveled to Israel.
Okay. And
came back. I've also lived virtually all my life on an island. Britain is an island. But if you look at how hotels, modern state-of-the-art hotels, are being built along the coast of Britain and places like that, Israel, you marvel. So if you had the money, let's have all the Sea Defense can even be used to construct hotels. Oh, okay. It's like Israel in places like that for tourist attraction. Tourists will come in and would like to, live in these hotels, right? Beachfront resort, beachfront apartments. Go to places like Brighton in the United Kingdom. That's what people do for a living.
I get it.
But we have to have a program of. We have 550 kilometers. We have not even done 70. Because virtually,
now you
Greater Accra,
yes,
Central, Western, Volta.
Yeah.
All these are coastlines.
Yeah. But none of them are being threatened at the heights that some are being threatened currently.
Oh, Axim. I went to Axim. I was so shocked.
Okay.
I was so shocked.
So,
right?
is there an expedited program to deal with Axim as an emergency?
Why did you think we took that tour on? We went on that official tour in June, I think. April, May, June, thereabout. And we made sure that we had to see these things firsthand.
Okay.
For us to be able to speak to the matter. So when we went for this budget presentation hearing, a few months before the budget was read, I had the opportunity and privilege to lead the presentation on works. And I told them the situation in which we found, Axim. If something is not done drastically now, between now and say end of 2019, you have a crisis on our hands. All the rules are being eaten away.
So we are prioritizing that area?
Of course.
And we have money for it. I know the way you don't like the money question, but it's an important one. We can't have priority without money allocations.
The priority will bring the money.
So hold on. How much is it going to cost us to fix Axim completely?
Because we have not done an assessment on it. We are now going to do an assessment on it. Because you see, you have to award for these designs to be done. Cost money.
Yeah, I get
who's going to pay for the cost of the designs?
No,
so when it's awarded,
yes,
then the hydro guys will sit down with the contractors and what have you. And if it's going to be donor funded, United Nations will bring in their consultants.
I get the point.
You see, so these things you cannot cost them as you would like to. Because somebody must pay for the design, somebody must pay for this, somebody must pay for that. And not until it's been awarded. Even one contractor was telling me that they had to work on Axim. They had to go to meet Deutsche Bank in London with their lawyers and what have you, even before mandates were secured, even before contracts were signed.
Okay.
So it's not as easy as the money. The money will come because no doubt if it's going to be awarded, they have to find the money to execute it.
Okay. It's interesting these ones are being dealt with. I'll not take you in the area of housing because that's not your area.
That's not my area.
You like to chip in a couple of things, especially the current discussion about housing stock.
I said, I'm here to speak to work.
There's nothing
I don't want to drop me into a territory where...
Anyway, the Public Works Department, how is that department functioning?
It's one of our colonial relics.
Yes, it's the first department in the country, and I just want to know how it's functioning.
I think it's lost its touch. It's lost its Midas touch, yes.
What's been done to revive it?
Well, you see, the problems are everywhere. Everywhere you go, lack of funds, lack of staff. You see, these are outfits that attract the best of engineers in our country.
Yeah.
And if you cannot even pay them, right, no modern trained engineer would want to join PWD now.
Okay.
They'll either want to join more forward-looking organizations and stuff like that. So PWD has to speak. It's a tough call.
Is there a decision on it? I just want to know.
Oh, there's no decision, a major decision, because it's still a part of the agencies.
So what are they really doing?
Oh, they're in charge of renovating government bungalows and things like that. Yes.
They've been doing that?
Oh, yeah.
Consistently?
Not consistently.
Because I've been wondering, I've seen bungalows that are in terrible state.
Who is your mentor here? Is it Evans Mensah?
I'm just asking.
Has Evans been training you? He's been training you.
Oh, okay. So, Honorable, I'm asking also about what they call it. But is there a decision taken on? I just want to know, going into the future.
You see...
Would it be revamped?
We have to revamp it.
Okay.
We have to revamp it. But the state in which it finds itself now is unsavory.
Because when I look at your goods and services budget, it doesn't look like a very big budget.
At all.
Yeah, so that's where I'm looking at some of these things.
You wonder how people are paid in that sector.
That's interesting to know.
Yes, but they are paid. But they are not paid attractively enough to attract the fresh graduates.
Mindful of the fact that we have important national institutions that require these people working so much on them so that they keep it the way they ought to be kept.
Flats are not being renovated.
Should we privatize the PWD?
If I had my way, I'll privatize everything in Ghana. If I had my way.
No, I'm talking specifically about a department in your ministry.
No, you see, everything government doesn't seem to work.
Really?
Yes, people just go and abuse it. right? If they have to go, if they have to work and go and attract money from outside, they have to go and sell, like working for a bank.
Okay.
You see, if you are selling financial products, depending on the number of financial products you sell a week, you know, you get a bonus, don't you?
I get you.
So there's a motivation for you to go out there and get more sales, right? But what happens in Africa, this part of the world? Government employs about 80% of the population, of the workforce. Then what happens? People just walk in and walk out. Like President Gofo said, they pretend to be working, and government pretends to be paying them.
But AESL is fine, is it?
AESL is another area.
Is it fine?
As we speak, they're also owned by government.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. They're also owned by government. There's also an agency under me. So I know that the books don't look good.
The Hydrological Service Department?
Another area, also under me.
Yeah.
The books don't look good.
It looks like virtually every single book and reference to a department is not looking good. So how does the system work? You have a very big mandate.
That's the question. You see, that's why we must seek to grow our economy. Right?
Yeah.
That is why, because you see, there's been also usurpation of powers from other agencies. For example, Hydrological Services Department, which we are seeking to give it to raise it to an authority status. I think it's before cabinet now, right? They have the monopoly of all the drains in our country.
Yeah.
All the water, even the one village, one dam, is in their outfit. Well, they have the map of the entire nation. Every river, every stream, every lake, they have it. That they are charged with that under the constitution. But they have urban roads, constructing roads. They want to construct their drains without consulting Hydro. You have Ghana Highway Authority constructing roads. They just carry on without consulting Hydro. Well, Hydro can tell you that this culvert you are seeking to construct, in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be a big stream coming up. So you need a bigger sized culvert. But because you don't consult them and just go ahead and construct it, that's why you have all this flooding in Greater Accra.
There's no coordination, there's no proper planning between these. So,
but you see, if we elevate it to an authority status,
they can act without being consulted.
Nobody can even construct a drain in this country without consulting them. Because you'll be found foul of the law. And
is there an attempt to do so? Because some time ago, the statistical service were, what they call it, it's now supposed to be Ghana Standards Authority. They were all elevated to certain levels of that kind.
Yeah, because if the authority, then you have to apply to them. It's like PPA.
Yeah.
You cannot award certain contracts
without going through that particular. So that's what I'm asking, whether you have plans of doing so.
Yes, I've said the document is before cabinet.
Interesting.
Yes, it's something that was promised in our manifesto.
Okay, so
it's a manifesto promise.
We'll see how the elevation will go.
The elevation will help, like I said, use the PPA as a case.
An example.
A case factor.
Yeah.
Right? The PPA, all major contracts of government have to go through PPA.
My time is running out. There's a question I want to ask you.
I think your time is up.
Yes. There's a last question that the Honorable have to give me answers to. And this one, I'm being asked to recap with you on, in 2018, which projects will be completed?
Well, like I said, you're enjoying this, aren't you? Like I said, it's difficult because we want all projects to be completed in 2018. But
realistically?
Yes, that's the word.
Realistically.
Now you are coming into my world.
Realistically, which projects do you know will be completed?
But like I keep saying to you, if you haven't paid the contractor since August of 2016, you're starting to complete a project for you? They won't. We don't have the resources.
But you have plans to pay them? We
have plans to pay them. But plans to pay them also depend on what the finance minister has received.
Releases to the ministry too.
Or has received. What if he receives, he has no interest in sitting on it, you release it to the system.
Well, folks, that's where we tie the nice ribbons on today's edition of Upfront. Honorable, I appreciate your coming so much. In the course of the year, we'll do an update on this conversation.
Sure.
You have to tell us where all of these projects are and how you are saving
Call me same time next year.
Same time? No, that's way too far. And thank you so much for joining us in today's edition of Upfront. And we appreciate you watching us today.